Welcome back. So today we have a very simple question. Does property value depreciate when you buy a house? The answer is going to depend on many factors. My name is Byamukama of Bavan Agencies for Portal. This is a small video about property appreciation and property depreciation. And we are looking at the distribution of value at the time of buying. The value attached to the land and the value attached to the structures or the buildings. Like this video if it is informative. Please subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss the next video. Yes, many times we do say the value of a house will depreciate over time. But for some, it may not actually depreciate. It is going to depend on the value attached to the land and the value attached to that structure that's on that land. Let's say if you bought land that has a high value as for land, but has a house or a building with a smaller value, the value of the whole property is surely going to appreciate over time. Okay, let us take an example. Let's say you buy 1 acre of land with a small house. And the value at the time of buying, for example, of the house is 20% of the total value. The value of land for that property is going to appreciate. In that even if you were to sell the land without the structure, you'll still get a good profit. But there's another scenario. Say the value of the structure is contributing like 90% or 80%. You are more likely to suffer depreciation because of the structures which are wearing out, the structures which are aging. You have to appreciate here in Uganda that if you build a house today, in 20 years to come or 30 years, that house will not have value. So you are going to look at two things: the value of land as vacant land, and then the value of the structures or the house that is on that land. If you realize that the value of land itself is contributing less than 50% of the value, then you have a bigger problem of depreciation. Yeah, I'll put in a simple example. Let's say you buy a house, you buy it 150 million, but 50 million is the value attached to the buildings and 100 million is the value attached to the land. So if there's an appreciation in future, you may sell this vacant land for say 200 million. And these structures by then are almost say 20 million. So you will not suffer a lot of depreciation. But the other way is if this time the building is valued for 100 without land and the land itself is 50. So in the future when you decide to sell or you want to revalue, you will find that the value of the land which was 50 million now is 100. And the structures that you bought for 100 million is now 50. So you will sell the whole property for 150 or even less for the property that you actually bought 150. So it will have caused a lot of loss. It may actually appreciate or it may generally depreciate. So when you are buying any property that has a house on it, it is important that you pay attention to the value of that house and the value of land, the distribution of the value. How much value is in the land itself if you are to sell it vacant, or how much is in the value in the buildings. If you are to sell in the future, will you be able to get that value from those buildings? You're selling like a vacant plot. Some buyers will say, look, I'm even going to put in money for demolition. So you try to discern them and see which proportion is the land contributing of the value. And also look at which proportion of value is attached to the buildings. Then you ask yourself, in the 20 years to come, how much worth will this building be? It may be zero. I'm telling you, it may be zero at the time when you are selling. Thank you very much. Bye.